Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Man, world is going crazy. You got Russia deploying on the Western Front. You got China testing the Air Force defenses with Taiwan. And the way that they're testing it now, you got to remember we're in the 21st motherfucking century. We got cell phones that can relay pictures, information, all sorts of data. Different companies utilize bots and scripts to steal all the data off of your cell phone to learn information about how you move, how you behave, and how you react. Then they do that on a much larger, scarier scale. They're able to hack into satellites and breach servers. I don't know if that's real with the satellite thing, but who the fuck knows? We are in the 21st century. So China is using self-learning artificial intelligence to test the reactions of different scenarios. Every time they fly warships over the Asian Strait, I forget what that strait's called, but it separates China and Taiwan. The artificial intelligence throws scenarios and says they're going to attack like this, they're going to defend like this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And then it throws a much larger scale scenario on what's going to happen with the rest of the world, economics, food. I'm believing that the Chinese and the Russians or the Syrians, somebody is using advanced technology to manipulate weather patterns. And if that's the case, then I just posted it this morning on the Gram and on Getter. And if you don't follow the Gram, it's just your average citizen with a space at the end. The space or the hyphens or whatever, the little squiggly line that goes under. And then Getter is, I'll get that to you later. I think 2019 in October, that's when World War III officially begun. And it begun in a different way. World War I started with, I think it was the Austrian president. He got shot while parading, or maybe it was a pope. I don't know. I remember reading in school, it was a bullet heard around the world. And then World War II started with Hitler, first the Germans not being invited to negotiations after World War I ended, and then Hitler gaining office and taking back Austria without firing a shot. And they're able to rapidly deploy troops and tanks all across Europe. And the only reason that motherfucker lost the war is because he attacked Russia. And they ran through Russia because I think it was Lenin or Stalin, whoever was the fucking president back then of Russia. He didn't believe that the Germans were firing up their tanks and moving through the fucking Western Front. He said it was just a distraction. Two very paranoid leaders. Now, you got Russia and China combining forces, gaining trust with the Middle East to conquer the West and give Jerusalem back to who the fuck ever deserves it. Scary times. All of us have been infected with a biological weapon. Most of us, a very large majority of the world, is now infected. I don't think this thing's mutating. This is just my fucking crackpot theory. I think whoever invented these viruses, probably Anthony Fauci and the Wuhan level 4 laboratory in China, I think this thing is just, it's not necessarily mutating. I believe this thing is just getting launched out like every couple weeks or every month. There's new variants. There's new variants being sent out across the world, like the G or the XI, the 21, the Omicron, which got its name from Xi to Omicron because Xi Jinping, the president of China, said the WHO has to change the name because he can't have a virus named after him. Is that shit fucking crazy? Who really owns America? Not the citizens. Nope. We're just little fucking pieces of fruit rotting in a fucking basket. And if you feel the same way too, we got a lot of listeners from outside of America. So you guys, it's all the same scripts being played all over the world. This is the beginning of the New World Order. This is how they're going to be establishing their 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 domination, and whatever you think you know about how the world is. If you're in a first world country, you're going to learn fast what it's going to be like to live in a impoverished third world country. It is going to get very, very dangerous. Y'all need to be fucking prepared. And for those of you that are used to me being like happy go lucky, fucking super optimistic and positive, I'm here spitting the truth. And the reason I haven't been posting on social media for a whole bunch is, or as much, is social media is distracting people from what the fuck is actually going on. And we have this perception that we've built around ourselves that nothing can happen. We're in this big bubble and nothing can touch us. We've never had a war fought in America in the last 250 plus years, 300 years. There's been no war fought on our soil. And 220 years, I think, 200 years. What the fuck ever. Fuck your semantics. It's going to happen. And the world is so small now, and population control, I think, is a real fucking thing now. Bill Gates is fucking scary. If you check out Event 201, that's Event 201, you'll see that I wasn't batshit crazy when I was saying I read this article about a simulation in October 2019. Event 201. I forget if that's what it is, but anyways, Google it, and you'll see that COVID-19 got its name from this 3.5 hour simulation of what would happen if a biological fucking virus spread across the planet and killed like 60 million people. It's fucking scary, and Bill Gates was a part of it, along with a very small number of super powerful, influential people. It's like the need to know people. So check that out. Be informed, and just be ready for what's happening. Russia will invade Ukraine. When Russia does invade Ukraine, American soldiers are on standby to defend Ukraine. This on the 4th, so earlier this month, in January, Russia is deploying more soldiers to the western side of Russia, which is where Ukraine is. And there's no reason that a country would spend an insane amount of money to gas, to arm, to train, and to feed that over 100,000 soldiers. There's no reason that they would waste that much money, especially when they're like Russia's broke. And then China testing what they're testing. All the weird stuff going on in the world. So militias here in America, we're allowed to have militias. We're allowed to train with a group of armed people and learn tactical advantages of our local environment so we can defend that local environment. It is not against the law to know how to use a compass. It is not against the law to own a map. It is not against the law to, at least in America, to camp out in the woods and live off the land and learn how to navigate with the stars and endure your environments. I recommend y'all do that. I was a felon. I got my felony reduced here in America. There's different ways on how you can get your gun rights back. So I'm applying to get my firearm license back, or to be able to own firearms. I'm applying to get all that shit taken care of again. Because, I mean, I don't want to own a firearm illegally. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I do my best to abide by the laws, and I don't want to be in prison for 7 years for just owning a gun. And for those of you that are listening to where, like, you will go to prison for owning a gun, that sucks dick. And I hope we all can win this upcoming war so we can just change that so everyone can. You feel? Because, like, you're going to get stabbed, you're going to get shot, you're going to get punched out. Like, I don't fucking know what kind of violent situations you've been in, but I've been plenty. I ain't never needed a gun for my type of violent conflict. I never needed a gun, but with what I feel is coming, I need to be armed, because there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to defend myself against an invading army. You feel? So, with that being said, I was on track to say something about something, but my little brain spaced it. The with the virus constantly mutating, I feel this is just another type of population control. The UN said, made a statement or an analysis or some shit, by 2040, 2050, fresh water is going to be gone. And our wells underground in America are mostly depleted. Las Vegas, they're not going to have fresh water by the end of 2022. The dam, I think it's called Mead Lake, is running dry, and they don't have any more water in the ground. So their well water is gross or some shit. It's contaminated. So Las Vegas, I think Las Vegas is going to be a lost cause like by the end of this decade. So by 2028, 2030. And then you got food shortages happening, which is starting because our food plants and grain, China supposedly is like hoarding 70% of the world's grain, and we need grain supposedly to feed our cattle. I'm not a cattleman, so I don't really know how that process works, but there's going to be food shortages, lots of it, especially if the weather patterns start changing like dramatically. So there's now proof, which I've talked about for a long time, but now there's like proof that China and Russia have advanced technologies that change the weather patterns. And if let's say China and Russia both attack at the same time because the self-learning AI says that's the best way to do it, and they've ran enough simulations to where they can be prepared for any outcome to win with a very high probability. So if they attack Ukraine and Taiwan at the same exact time, then while that's happening, they fuck up America's weather because now they know what the grids can handle, and then they know when to send like backdoor hacks and DDoS and other things to disrupt communications, and then they can destroy critical satellites, and then they can fucking take us over in like a month, right? So or more or less, because America has some pretty powerful fucking capabilities when it comes to our armed forces, and our armed forces are people. And I don't think it's our armed forces that are fucking the treasonous bastards that are trying to disrupt the world to rebuild it in their vision. I think our armed forces, no matter what country you're in, are brave young women and men that love their country and love their families and love their neighbors and will defend it at the greatest cost, which is giving their life and giving their sanity and dying for their brothers and sisters in arms, no matter what country you're in. That's just what it is. We have one of the most advanced, strongest militaries in the world, with some of the most dedicated men and women that put their lives on the line every fucking day. So there's going to be a lot of fighting. And when it happens, what if they use the weather control and manipulate the weather here in America? That overloads grids, that kills people from too hot, too cold, that then allows them to backdoor access to shut down communications. They blow up servers. You wake up tomorrow and you have no internet. You have no internet. Then your power goes out. What are you going to do? These are things that you need to be prepared for. This is what I believe is going to be happening. We're already at each other's throats. When that happens, the grocery stores are going to start getting packed up. The roads are going to get really filled. And with a lot of people filling the roads, causing traffic, anxiety and fear is going to set in, because now we have no communications of anything. landlines are now ran through fiber optics. They're not ran through fucking the power lines. It's all fiber optic, most of it, which means if the internet goes down, so does your landline phone, because it's not ran through the fucking power lines anymore. So you won't have any type of communications. Nothing's going to work. You have to communicate with people face to face. And that means it could build a stronger bond with you and your neighbors, or it could lead to deceit, and home invasions will begin to start, especially in the most dangerous cities. That's when criminals are going to start running the streets. They're going to start killing people. And then police officers, it's going to be really scary. National Guard will get deployed to keep martial law. We won't know what the fuck's going on because the only thing we'll have is television. And we've seen what television is. It's a lot of propaganda. And that's the only way that we're going to be able to see the information that we no longer can access. And then we'll have to trust that TV on the information that's given. And that's a scary thought because I don't trust anything that's on the fucking TV. It's all plays and acting, scripts. No one has free-form fucking conversations. It's all pre-written scripts that they read off of a teleprompt. It's all pre-thought out. It's really interesting. I prophesize this is going to happen based on what's been happening the last 2 years and how there's no course correction. We're just heading straight into it. We gave up Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan, and that's one of the most critical air bases in the Middle East that allows our U.S. military to rapidly deploy anywhere, almost anywhere in Europe. And now we lost that access. It's like losing your queen, rook, and bishop. It's not good. It's really not good. You lose a lot of power play moves, which means being able to defend Taiwan just got a lot fucking harder. The Biden administration is, it's on the table for them to remove their military defense contract with Taiwan. So I believe once that contract gets removed, that's when China is going to attack. And that's when Russia is going to attack Ukraine, or Russia is going to attack Ukraine. And then we'll say that we don't have the resources or whatever to defend Taiwan. So they'll have to pull that off. And then that's when China invades Taiwan. Just some things to think about. Be prepared, be ready mentally and physically. I've been working out personally. My goal is 210. Now I'm up at 192. That's a lot of weight from a 140 pound skinny little boy. Skinny ass little twerp. 142 pounds. Motherfucker. About to be as big as Mike Tyson. I hope you guys have a beautiful ass motherfucking day. Do not get depressed or let down by the things I say. This is just a hard truth that I enjoy thinking about. If it doesn't happen, fucking great. Let's go back to normal. But they did say there is no such thing as normal anymore. This is your new normal. I see the world powers grabbing for complete control. And Bill Gates owns more farmland in America than anyone else because food is going to be the number one commodity, especially when we're all in the metaverse wearing fucking virtual reality goggles and we don't need to go outside. We're just going to have to eat food. Well, Bill Gates has our back, right? He gave us Microsoft. Now he's going to give us micro food. Hey, Much love, you guys. Hope you all have a beautiful day. Stay hydrated, stay healthy, stay human.